So, Paul, you were saying wouldn't be surprised with a 2-1 start, but let's look at this whole schedule here as you take a bird's eye view approach. What are your overall expectations? Do you see West Virginia making a bowl game again? I mean, I feel like that's bare minimum expectation. What are you thinking, gentlemen?
You want me to keep going since I started already?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I think it's tough, really. This is a crazy schedule this year. But to be honest, it's way easier than what we've been having. We've been playing 2 Power 5 teams, right, to start. So I think innately it's easier because of the Robert Morris and Ohio games. Because Ohio, I've talked to a few of their guys. They've won. They've had, a lot of people don't know, but Ohio's had 3 straight double-digit win seasons, 3-10 or more, right? Mm-hmm. So I was worried: is this going to be another one of those teams where they lost their coach?
Iowa State last year.
Yeah, they lost their coach. They lost a bunch of guys, right? So they don't expect them to be as good as they have been, but who knows, that culture could still be around. I wouldn't look past the Bobcats, and they've got a really weird small stadium. But without breaking down every single team, I think overall, I think West Virginia can make some hay early because I think I'm not too worried about Kansas. I know some people are. I just don't know what they're going to be year to year. I think Utah is making just as big of an adjustment as we are outside of the coaching. BYU is going to be really good, but they lost their quarterback now, so that opens up a little bit. UCF is one of those sleepers. Obviously, you guys, Hoover's probably one of the most unsung quarterbacks in the entire country that nobody talks about.
Thank
literally.
You,
Houston is a squad that, I love Fritz. I think he's a good coach, but I don't think that they're going to be good enough in year 2 to beat us in year 1. I just don't. Historically, we're just a better, I'm just going to go with us until further notice. Colorado is, they could be a 10-win team. They could be a 5-win team. You just don't know there. Arizona State scares the dickens out of me. And I got to see it from Joey McGuire and Texas Tech, money or not. So, I think this sets up for a 7-ish feeling kind of year with the potential for more if they figure it out. But if you put a gun to my head right now and said pick it, I'd say probably 7 or 8 wins at the very most. I would pick right now. We haven't had summer yet, so I haven't got enough data to really go on something. But as it sits right now, I'm saying we're gonna play in a bowl game. I have no doubt because of that early schedule. There's no way. I don't think there's any way we lose the backyard brawl with it be going away for a couple years after this year, and it being played on 9/13 after we lost 13-9 to not go to the national championship game. Fate has intervened here for that.
I did not even think about that. I love that, Paul. Goose, you're on mute.
My bad.
Yeah.
And that was Rich Rod's last game as a Mountaineer coach too, which is so ironic. But anyway, I mean, I could just say ditto and move on, but I won't. I mean, what strikes me about the schedule, only once all year do they have back-to-back away games, and there's a bye week in between. That's when they go at BYU and at UCF, and that BYU game is actually a Friday night game. But, a lot of people I've heard a lot of pundits look at West Virginia's schedule and say, this schedule is not very hard. And yes, we don't have the 2 Power 4s in non-con this year. We don't have the Penn State or the Virginia Tech or Maryland.
God.
Yeah, but I actually think our Big 12 schedule, at least on paper, is pretty darn tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do avoid Kansas State and you avoid Iowa State.
We do. But I also think so, and that's a great point. And we avoid Baylor. So, maybe I'm being, I don't know. I just think the Big 12 is going to be really good this year.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
the last 3 games are brutal.
Big 12.
Yeah. I mean, Texas Tech, everybody's picking them to be, the gods of college football this year. At Arizona State, I mean, yes, they don't have Cam Scatterby, but man, they got Sam Levitt back, Jordan Tyson back. Kenny Dillingham was a heck of a football coach, and that's an away game, which kind of worries me a little bit.
A long away game too.
The TCU game again worries me. The BYU Utah. The one reason Kansas does worry me a little bit though is it's their very first Big 12 game in their brand new stadium, and they're going to be up for that game, and that worries me a little bit. So we got a little bit of bad luck on our side on that one. Bad luck of the draw, so to speak. But other than, I mean, I think Utah. I think Kyle Whittingham will get those guys back to playing good football again this year, especially on defense. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a tough schedule, but I don't, but I do see at least a bowl team, especially when you consider the G6 and the FCS team on the schedule. That should be 2 wins. Sure to goodness they can find 4 more wins somewhere on that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We're not 16th. I'll tell you that much. I'll bet money on that right now. We've been picked 14th and 16th and 13th or something in another magazine. But Iowa State was picked 16th last year. So
and Kelly Ford today said we were going to win 2.5 Big 12 games this year.
I mean,
in his rating system.
I feel like with a lot of these games, you could talk yourself into a win or a loss.
Correct. But that's the whole conference, though. That's the thing. That's just the Big 12 in a nutshell.
Yeah, and the reality is there's just so much unknown about West Virginia right now, specifically from the offense, right? But yeah, I mean, just if you look at like Arizona State, BYU, those really worry me. UCF feels like a dumb one that you would like, even as a TCU fan, I'm like, that's like I would not want to play at UCF. That's like a team you should beat that like you would probably lose.
Tough stadium.
Because and yeah, you mentioned Kansas's first game in the new stadium. Who the heck knows what Utah's going to be? I mean, I do think TCU is going to be a lot better this year, but we historically don't play well in Morgantown.
Right.
So there's that. And then I think Willie Fritz, I think Houston's heading in the right direction. They took us absolutely to school last year in our home stadium, and we all remember 2 years ago, that crazy game with Dana Holgerson still at the helm down there in Houston. So yeah, it's there's a whole lot of different ways this could go. And it's
you have any thoughts on the Pitt game yourself?
I hope y'all win. That's about my only thought. I hope y'all kick their butt. This is a pro eat poop Pitt podcast. Absolutely.
There's some rumblings that could be on college. That could be a college game day game if everything goes right. Yeah,
it should be. I mean, for God's sake,
McAfee's going to push for it.
We're doing everything we can to eliminate regional rivalries and historic sports hatred, and it's the dumbest. I'm like, this is literally why we all love this sport, and we're trying to get rid of it. So, but
yeah, and it's the last time they play for like 3 or 4 years too. So,
yeah,
it's going to be a wild day in Morgantown. I can tell you that.
Some burning couches with any luck, and
but
biscuits and moonshine.
But I ain't gonna lie, Pitt could be scary good this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I'm curious, gentlemen. I do agree with you that it's wrong to pick West Virginia last, but I'm curious who you think is going to end up being the worst team in the Big 12 now.
Go ahead, Paul.
That's a tough one to pull out on. There's a couple of teams really that I could say possibly are going to be. Can I say I wish it was Colorado and just move on?
I'd be okay with that.
Or I wish it was Utah. Honestly,
yeah, Utah. That's what we want.
I think Utah's got a chance to be bad again. I really do. I've looked into them a bit this offseason, but their coach has been so good over time that it would be not fair to do. But I mean, I'm going to pick Arizona. If you're going to put a gun to my head, I'll pick Arizona for now.
Yeah, I think it'll be between Arizona and I'm not sold on even though we talk about retreads. I'm the Scott Frost decision to me is still a little bit strange. I know some people are going to say, "Why? Because you guys are bringing back Rich Rod." I just think it's apples and oranges.
Yeah, truly.
But I'm kind of scratching my head on that one. I'm still not sold that was the right move for them, and they are also having a ton of roster turnover too. So I think it's going to be between UCF and Arizona. I'm not a huge Scott Satterfield guy either at Cincinnati, but I think they've got enough talent on that roster.
They got a good quarterback, yeah.
Yeah, great, really good quarterback. Corleone, I think's back. I think Coy Connor, is he back? I think he might be. I can't remember. But anyway, I know they got
a lot of preview shows. I can't remember.
But anyway, and with the portal, man, I can't keep track. But anyway,
yeah,
they've got a lot of talent coming back, and so I think that'll keep them at least treading water, and probably get them to a bowl game, even if despite Scatterfield, because I'm just not a huge fan of his. But yeah, I'm going to say it's between UCF and Arizona right now.
Okay, so opposite end of the spectrum. Last question for you. I'm asking everybody, who's going to be in Arlington playing for the championship?
That's a fun question. I'll go with. It's tough. I almost want to go chalk, and say something like Kansas State and Arizona State, or something crazy like that. But let's go wild card, and let's say I'm going to say Mike Gundy turns it around this year and gets the Pokes back in there against Arizona State.
Okay.
I just
Cody,
believe
I
in
hope
Mike
you heard
Gundy.
that.
I'm going to go with BYU. I think BYU is going to be good again because of their defense. I think Jay Hill there is doing a phenomenal job on the defense. And then I'm going to go with Kansas State. I want to say K-State, BYU in the title game at Arlington.
I could see both of those. I
have very, very little confidence in that prediction.
I just think nobody knows how good Hoss Haney is. You do.
Yeah.
Would you be shocked if Hoss Haney was Offensive Player of the Year even? I mean, he's that good.
Well,
in year one, maybe not.
The interesting thing is that, we had our Oklahoma State show just a few weeks ago, and it's really not necessarily looking like it's going to be Hoss Haney's job as the wild thing.
Really?
There's other quarterbacks that have their name very much in the ring, and Hoss may be doing the same thing he was doing at TCU this past year, where he's coming in situationally to run the ball. But
wow,
but yeah, he's got a very bright future ahead. That's for dang sure. He's very
still young.
West Virginia was going after him, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
We did take a swing there, but I don't know how serious it was.
Right.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I would love to say West Virginia in that game, but then that would just be too homer,
I started to say TCU, but
3 games.
I started to say TCU, but I didn't want to sound like coming off.
I thought the same thing.
They'll just think I'm kissing Clint's butt, so I'm not going to say that.
Well, hey, I was saying for the longest time TCU Baylor, right? Just because
Baylor's a sleeper.
The hatred in that building would feed families. But if we're talking about hatred feeding families, and something that would be any better narrative choice is Tech TCU, because then you've got two polar opposite ways of looking at NIL playing in the championship game, right? You got a team that's all about developing and retaining talent, and a team that's just, okay, who's the biggest 5-star name that we can find? Let's just go pay him all the money he can carry,
Yeah.
But
there's a part of me, even though I have mad respect for Texas Tech fans and that program, there's a part of me that wants them to be bad this year. I don't want to see a team buy a championship.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's just, unfortunately, the era we're in. That's kind of what everybody's trying to do, right? So I guess it's hard to throw stones at them, but I would rather see a team win it. And again, I know everybody West Virginia bringing in 50 transfers, but that's different. It's year one of a coach, and it's changing a culture, and and trust me, West Virginia.
Look where they came from.
Yeah, exactly. West Virginia doesn't have Texas Tech money. I can promise you that. But there's a part of me that wants them to be a mediocre football team and not make it to Arlington.
We call them Sand Aggies for a reason. And you know what? Oil men in Texas have been trying to buy championships for as long as we've had football. Okay. You've heard about a little thing called the Southwest Conference.
Somewhere Jerry Jones just said, somebody talking about me?
Yeah. Hey, can you do a better job, Jerry? For God's sake, man. Golly.